Hello, everybody. Welcome to another segment of Gaming with Blockchain. Oh, yeah, this is a special one. This is a shout out. This is a the out of the ordinary video content that you see weekly, and is again just to showcase other projects that are within the NFT space, also within the gaming space of itself, and not always necessarily in gaming, but in true in terms of collectibles or other features. So this time is like, okay, let me do that, and it'll probably be one of those things I'll try to do maybe at least once every 2 weeks, ever so often, just to again show you as viewers and as an audience other projects that we find interesting. Now, it may not be a project that we're in depth with, you know, as we were with other projects that you see on a weekly basis on every new highlight that's coming in. But these are projects that kind of caught our eye, and we go, this is interesting. I kind of like where it's going, and we kind of sit on it for a while. We we wait and see what's being happening, what's being developed behind the scenes before we kind of present it, just to make sure it's not one of those rug pulls that tend to happen again a lot in the space, and then go, yeah, this has potential, and it has nothing again to do with just us putting in the time to investigate the game more so, but also for you as an audience, something you could catch early on, something that may be of interest to you that necessarily is not something we will have, ex- enormous amount of time to invest in. So let's start off. We have this project called Undersea Park. I find this project quite intriguing in its own way because it's something that's definitely unique. It's how many projects that we know right now, that are dealing with the other part of our Earth that we rarely see. This is something that they just had the recent drop release yesterday. Very preliminary, very early, and they're testing out their collections and how they're going to develop the platform. I have to say, as far as the community goes, very much a pay it forward, very conscientious of assuring that things are distributed fairly. So all these are amazing pluses for a new project. And I think there's a great opportunity moving forward here. So let's take a look at the collection. So here's, oops, that's not the collection. Here's their collection right here. You see more about it on Atomic Hub. They're part of the NFT blocks as well. You'll see it in previous videos I've mentioned that they're sharing where again, another project that's sharing how they do their blends and how they optimize the use of their NFTs on another platform. And overall, this is what the projects have in place. Look, seahorses there. uh, and great characters. Beauty Abbey, some of it's animated, some of it's stills. How you blend them together, you get a preview of how these are blended. Bitter moving, you see that kind of, oh, don't piss me off attitude. And these are just the starting elements of what's coming down in their projects and how they move their projects over. So I think, you have the ruins of the pirate ship. I think the potential of this project is quite unique, and it'll be interesting to see where they lead. This is something that I think, for our objectives, that we may be putting in a lot of attention to, or added attention towards. So if I go now to Nifty Blocks, this is what they had. They had their oxygen tanks, and this will determine how deep you go into the ocean. Their mini oxygen tanks have been sold out completely. The wetsuits and the diving kit, all gone, and there's still time to purchase some of the small oxygen and the bigger oxygen tanks. This is what's left in as far as the inventory. Actually, let me refresh it to make sure that these numbers are correct. And yes, they are. We have 10 more left in the big one, and about 105 or so left in the small one. And they will determine as well what you receive. So if I click on them, it will tell you the odds of what items are going to be part of that pack. And right now, this is the pack that's going to be dealing with the seaweed collection. So there's a seaweed collection and a coral collection, and we'll look into that in a moment. So if I look at my NFTs, So I have, here's a seaweed and Paul seaweed and bitter angel, the bitter angel being the base, and the seaweedy collection is part of the decor. Um, and then these are all the other elements, or I should say other characters for this moment is the best way to describe it. The ruins portion, here's another coral blend that will be associated with it. And this is my wetsuit, and it was around with my dive kit. So when it comes to the blending portion of it, I'll look at the blends. Now I believe I can do one blend from what I remembered last time, and I'm going to show at least if I have one requirement. So and in terms of one requirement in the blends, or do I have all? There we go. Here I have all. I can do bitter seaweed. Eventually I will be going after harmony seaweed. I'm missing one ingredient, but I have to double check what will be, because I think once I make this one here, excuse me, once I make bitter seaweeds, I would have none of the other elements because I need a seaweed. So if you look back, you need two of each element to make the blend component. So I need two seaweeds and two, let's say, happy seaweed to blend and make the new component. And right now in my blend, when it comes to the bitter seaweed, I already have 2 and 2. So I have 3 seaweeds, and we'll have maybe one more extra seaweed left. And from that point, I'll have to now acquire more seaweed from there. So it means unpacking a oxygen tank, and I'll see maybe I'll have some blends there. So we'll get to that in a moment. So here are my characters. Here's what I have to blend. So I'll put in one of those, I'll put in one of those, and a seaweed and a seaweed. It's all put in place. I'm now going to put, this is what my blend result will be. So the seaweed has a little bit of animation, bitters swimming through, and the outline, as far as even like a depth gauge, it looks like will be the border. So I'm going to select blend. I'm going to say approve. Blend successful. And I believe now this will be my number 4 in the blends. So if I go back to my NFT, and it'll take time for it to populate on the blockchain based on what it was calculated there, it'll look like I'll have a number 4 in this bitter angel. So now if I look back at the drops, or if I look back at my packs, I can now unpack I'm going to unpack a large oxygen, and let's see what's proceeding there. So this asking sign, 2 transactions, one to open the pack and the other one to claim the NFTs. So let's go through that process. So that's my diving, and I'll prove that. And this is what that's received inside. So I have a Scarlet Beta, Vincent Skinny, Paul Seaweed. So I have another Paul Seaweed, Happy moving, Scarlet moving, more bitter moving, and Jack animated, as well as Abby animated. And Paul moving with Paul common. Okay, there we go. And Paul common as well. There we have it. So now these blends I can add, or these will be part of the blends, so I can add a decor to these blends. Now that's where I would have to again investigate and see, this portion is already animated. What would I do to make another layer of animation to this? Because the border is already there, what will change? And that will be the segments that you'll see when you compile the necessary NFTs. So that being said, we have a lot in the project that's being developed here. It's still very new. It's still starting for the first time in how they structure all their builds, or how they structure all their components. And I think, as I said, I think this will have something that's interesting. I think it's something that will be worthwhile to look into. Again, This is not any, you know, financial advice. This is nothing of that sort. This is just an opinion, and it's an opinion that based on interest. This is something that we find interesting. You may find interesting. So this is, again, these are the variables that you'll be finding in the large oxygen cylinder. If you were to choose it, there's still some available there. Okay, so I'll look forward to it. I think this has a great significance of promise. So that's Undersea Park. So now we're going to move on to MarbleCrypto. I've mentioned MarbleCrypto before, and they they have a whole vast of other projects that they're doing. Unfortunately, they don't have a website. They're working on it. They're under the Molly Nation chain, and you'll find them on Twitter. And they had mentioned that they're working on the website. They're working on how-tos for their gameplay, and they have about 3 or 4 gameplay projects within their umbrella or within their portfolio. But I'm personally attracted to the marbles. I find the marbles from an artistic side quite appealing. Gameplay potential, that's yet to be seen, but I've been just collecting some of the marbles that I like, and maybe you do too. I don't know, but this is what I've been following up on and trying to keep up to date with. Not every marble I've gone after, but a few that I found, they're like, okay, that's nice. I like that. Just again, a preference. So that's what's coming down on their pipeline. Hopefully, they'll have something relatively soon to review and read up on. Okay, the next character or group is the EnviroBlocks. This is now a project again we've been tapping into here and there, and it's almost like a Lego style kind of RPG maybe, or MMA. I'm not too sure. Again, just read into it. But it's a builder's block. It's a builder's system. If you like building and having unique mechanisms and tools or devices that engineering kind of characteristics, this is something that can hit that interest bug if you're so inclined. And again, they're using NFT blocks to do all the blending and whatnot. So they've had their recent builder packages, if I will call it that, release again this past week. Remember, I said June was going to be crazy, and this is no exception. There's so many projects that are happening. Check out this builder drone. I think it's pretty cool, right? They will be moving forward. They had the drop and unboxing on the drop was the 17th. The unboxing was on the 17th of June. So that was now Thursday, and these are the characteristics they had per box, and we're kind enough to receive a drop in our box too, a promo pack, and I think it's pretty cool. I appreciate that very much. But I think again, if this is your style of interest and kind of robotics and ingenuity that's involved in these structures, I believe that this will be something that's appealing to that audience. I mean, don't you find this stuff kind of fascinating? I don't even know what it'll do with it, but I think it's just quite unique. I'm actually quite curious for the gameplay. I'm not sure again how far in depth we will be able to go into it and see. But I think it's just like almost like a Transformers type of thing. It's really appealing. Um, yeah, the very curiosity will probably get the best of me here. But again, like I said, it's not for us to say that this is something that we're definitely going to be jumping into 100%. But it's something worth mentioning, just so that you can keep your eyes out and understand that so much happening on the Wax platform that often gets missed in a hoopla of all other noise that we kind of generate over time. So I'm hoping you're finding all this content interesting, and that you will, you know, continue to engage, continue to share. Uh, we, you know, we'll bring in more information as we go. Here's their roadmap that they have in place, and I think it's yeah, the drones are here, everything's gonna be here, and how you kind of put them together will be the most challenging, I think. And but again, the community is to decide how that happens. Well, let's see what the community does say, right? So that's a new project, I think, that's coming along, and will be, developing as they move forward. So I, to everybody, very much appreciate your time to watch these segments, and continue to follow, continue to share. There'll be more on the way as things come on. And I think the next segment I'll be doing, just to wrap, it'll probably be a very brief segment regarding the NFTs. I think I've done it before. I think I'm just going to add now a kind of short view PDF file, so people can download it and look at it, and understand the whole NFT possibilities that are moving forward. But until then, until that happens, I again much appreciated. Thank you for following. Thank you for sharing. Your feedback, your comments will definitely help mold this project as we continue to forge forward in the space of gaming with blockchain. So until then, take care and stay safe. Thank you.